The Dawdler's philosophy.
Snippets.
Just a taste.
Do you realize
that get radical.
That there are 7.7 billion humans on Earth?
I feel so bad.
Have you ever heard this? So, this is news to you, I think. But listen, you are not special.
Let's not get into bad acting. Do you have no new ideas, or are we cranking this baby out?
I don't want you to feel comfortable at the end of this, like we've got somewhere, because we haven't got anywhere.
We gotten plenty where. I feel like I've listened to what you had to say and realized how right I am. Just say something radical. Go ahead. I know you want to be like, species don't exist, and I'm like, whatever. But I know that's...
What's a population?
Nice. There you go. It's just an aggregate of random things, Harland. Good question. What do you think a population is? What I just said?
Thanks, Brett. I like beer. Well, yeah, what do you like?
What do you like?
Beer.
Do you like beer?
What
do you drink, Mr. Whitehead? Or whatever. I watched
a population. I mean, I don't know, but I don't use the word, I think, as often as you do. I prefer the term class, maybe, kind of, because that's, to me, connotes more obviously the relativism of the term, that it's some scientist somewhere who has chosen to classify a set of ontologized entities under the same linguistic term. So a population in that sense would be something like a group in a region, in a space-time region that is classified by someone. I don't know. You can't ask me to do that thing.
I would say for me, like when we talk about populations, when biologists talk about populations, what I think they mean is that all the activities of these individuals is centered around reproduction and the production of the next generation. And so I think that's really, it's generative. It's not random in that sense.
So a population just is a breeding population. That's just redundant.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a breeding population. I would say a population is a group of reproducing individuals or whatever in a particular area. Located or whatever. But that there's a relationship, so there's brothers and sisters and cousins and, and that there's that connection between them or among them, and that there may be some immigration and emigration, there may be some coming and going, and that also plays a part. But ultimately, the goal is to play a part in a reproductive capacity, I suppose, or to exchange something among others in that way.
I'm guessing you don't mean that, but rather mean the counterfactual ability to be a member of the breeding population. It doesn't matter if you actually do it, right? You're still in the population if you never actually have kids.
Yeah. I mean, and so they subdivide it. They'll talk about the census population or whatever, which is essentially, obviously like a census where you're just taking estimates or getting numbers down, but also, it kind of stands in for like the overall population, the counterfactual aspects, as you mentioned. But then they'll talk about the effective population, which will be the number of individuals that did end up breeding, if it's a sexual population. But I suppose there are bacteria that might not end up actually dividing and they die, and there are those that did divide, and you could talk about effective population sizes in that way, I suppose, as well. I don't
That's not very politically correct. If you don't have kids, you're in the technical parlance an ineffective member.
Yeah, right. That's good. But so those are the kind of ways that I think they tend to divvy it up. But essentially, the activities of a group of individuals centered around trying to breed. And you could also, I suppose, say, hey, they're also having an impact on the resources, if in a particular area. You could, if you wanted to, restrict yourself to biology, you could say, well, maybe there's some geographical aspect, you live on an island or whatever, like that would be easier to talk about populations, perhaps. I'm not saying that it isn't a concept, that in abstract form only or whatever. Just that those are the kinds of things that matter to people who are trying to talk about these things, because nothing makes sense in biology except in light of evolution. And evolution, at least as far as biological evolution is concerned, seems to have the things that seem very important to it are reproduction. So there's your answer from sort of wherever.
Why should people have a right to have babies?